Alright, Mario Advance. This is another pretty important game to my childhood. Super Mario Bros. 2 specifically, the NES version, I did grow up with. I never got very far in it. This is like my least played of the original trilogy. Not because it's bad or anything, I actually think Mario 2 is a pretty good game. As a kid I didn't really like it because it was very difficult, but I've kind of warmed up to it nowadays. Partly because I'm better at platformers than when I was like 4 years old. But yet again, I didn't actually finish this game until this version. Partly because of the ability to actually save, that's very helpful. Instead of having to use like a continue system. Or we'll mostly be playing as Princess Peach, I'm gonna be honest. Just because she can float, and I'm not great at this game, so we need all the help we can get. So the Mario Advance games are really interesting, kind of like Mario, Super Mario Bros. Deluxe. These were basically a series, in this case, of handheld Mario ports. A lot of these do have some modifications. Mario Advance, I think, is the most changed mechanically. Like, a lot of things do work slightly differently, and they also added some stuff like 5 coins in every level that I think do unlock something if you get them all, but I've actually never gotten them all, so I don't know what it does. Coin mechanics are the same as Mario 2. Like, you do have the little, like, warp doors that take you to another part of the stage. You can actually get, like, items and chuck them at people. The main difference between this and the original, I'd say, that ends up being very mimetic, is the amount of voices in this game. Characters talk constantly. I feel like I could almost turn the game audio up, but I don't know if I want to, like, blare these sound effects constantly. The music itself isn't exactly the best quality either, just by the nature of it being through Game Boy Advance speakers, and the Game Boy Advance, like, I'm pretty sure it doesn't, like, have a dedicated sound driver or something. Like, it's really weird how the GBA does audio, if I'm remembering right. So yeah, you can actually skip a bunch of this level by just jumping up here. There's a coin though, so if you want to get the coin, you do actually have to play the stage as intended. Yeah, this game does feel a bit like a blind spot in some ways, where it really isn't one I'm particularly familiar with. And again, Mario World is the one I'm least familiar with, which is kind of, like, surprising. There's a whole story to Mario World, by the way. We'll obviously get to that at some point. But yeah, I mostly grew up with Mario 1 and 3. There's also, like, a door over here that allows you to skip straight to the boss, but if you want the coins, you do have to play the stage, like, straight. Which I'm not the best at playing anything straight, to be honest, for a couple of reasons. But I do hope everyone's having an alright day. My day's actually pretty okay, I'd say. Definitely did not get so much sleep as I wanted to, but that's on me. We're going to bed at 6 AM. And then having trouble falling asleep, too. Yeah, the music definitely sounds crunchy, and again, that's part of the reason why I have the audio set a little bit low, because I don't want to, like, blow anyone's ears out, because it's a little shrill. And I don't want to blow my ears out either, to be honest, but again, if anyone wants me to turn the game up, I will be happy to oblige. You also have Birdo saying this is as far as you go every time you fight the pink Birdos. Each Birdo color does have a unique line though, so that's nice. So Birdo is actually a very interesting character, as she is essentially the first trans character I ever encountered in media, though her portrayal is not particularly good in all fairness, using some descriptors that I think are not the best, to be honest, just like the way they describe it, but later games just kind of act like, not act like, but they say Birdo's like straight up a woman. Well, this game is a little bit more like dodgy with its wording, unfortunately. But it was kind of my first like experience with the concept of like being trans. Again, definitely not the best first start, but it was my start essentially. It's kind of interesting to think that a character so associated with eggs is like one of my first like trans characters I discovered in media. It's very fortuitous in a way. Hence, you know, there's the whole cracking eggs metaphor for trans people, so I just think about that a lot. The coincidence of that. My, like, trans journey is very odd, I feel, compared to others. Hi AC, thank you for the head pats. Oh shit. Well, we're already off to a good start. Well, I kind of panicked there, but, luckily this game is very generous with checkpoints, where basically every, like, starting area is a checkpoint. Or, like, every, like, room transition is a checkpoint, which is very nice. Meaning, even though this game is, in my opinion, actually kind of hard, it's surprisingly forgiving at the same time. I don't like snippets. I'm gonna throw this one off here, just to give me some breathing room to maneuver. Oh yeah, enemy respawns are very aggressive in this game, I forgot. So that's also not my favorite thing in the world. So each character does have different stats. Luigi jumps highest because of the slippery physics as usual. Peach has a fairly low jump but can actually float. I think her pull speed is also lower than the others. Oh, I missed a coin somewhere. I actually don't know where that would be. Probably along the top path of the indoor area. It's fine. I'm not going for 100% by the way, partly because I've never done it before and thus I don't know where the coins are. And even then, there's actually like a bonus playthrough where you basically have hidden Yoshi eggs in every stage. So I have no clue what those would be because I've never actually tried it. Maybe someday I'll try to 100% this game just to say I have 100% in it. This is also a case where I don't think if I 100%ed this game, I don't think I'd count it in the same category as Mario Bros 2, oddly enough, because I think the games are too different, actually. Like, I think I'd actually classify them separately, because there are enough, like, changes that I don't think they're the same game, necessarily. It's, like, complicated. I feel this way about a lot of remakes, like, you know, I kind of count Thousand Year Door remake separately because there are so many, like, small changes from the original that make it, like, not really comparable, in my opinion, like a one-to-one. Same with, obviously, like, Mario RPG remake, where the battle mechanics are so vastly different that I don't think it's, like, fair, like, saying, oh, I completed this, so I've also completed that. Like, I don't think it transfers that way. Some games I would be more, like, okay with doing that for, others I'm not. It just kind of depends on the individual game. Like, Twilight Princess HD is one that I have marked as, like, unfinished even, because as much as I've played the Wii version, I've done 2 playthroughs, neither were 100% though. Twilight Princess HD does streamline mechanics. I've also never played the mirrored version, or unmirrored version, actually. That was really dumb. I don't know why I thought that would work out. Huh. Interesting. I normally don't go down here. So, oh shoot. That's not great. That was a waste of a potion, because I think the mushroom's up there, so... Again, Mario 2 is the one I have played the least, so I would not expect, like, pro gameplay out of this playthrough. I would expect a pretty rubbish gameplay, honestly, just because this is a bit of a rough spot for me, personally, with the series. I'll do my best to play through this game. Again, I thought about starting it last time, because the game, in theory, should only take, like, an hour, but I because of my inexperience with the game, I figured I should give it a whole stream, just to be on the safe side, because it could take the full 2 hours, because of not being the most familiar with it. I am planning to do warpless for this, by the way, hence why we already passed one of the early warps. With Phanto, I think is the name of that enemy, one thing you can actually do is just toss the key and he'll go away. It's a very helpful strat. I think the door is on this side, so I'm gonna kind of lean this way. Yeah, we're doing real bad on coins this time, which is a bit unfortunate, but it's fine. Again, not overly concerned with the coins. It looks like they stack though, because like there's a percentage displayed, so I don't think you have to get them all in one run. So that's like one consolation of this all. There's also these cherries where if you collect, I think 5 of them, you get a star. So yeah, and at the end of like dash 3 stages, you typically have a special boss. This one should be Mouser. I'm pretty sure like almost every character is voiced by Charles Martinet in this, by the way, which is very interesting. So yeah, basically what you have to do is throw bombs at him. This is easier said than done, because he's constantly shifting around a little bit. That was really silly. I don't know why I thought that was a good plan. And yeah, you can kind of ride the bombs too, which is stressful. I'm amazed I got through that first try, because I definitely did not have the best performance. I remember Mouser mostly from the cartoon, the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, because Mouser's in that quite a bit. Choose a player. I definitely remember like Triclide also being in that. But I don't have the strongest memories, admittedly, because that was like a long time ago. When was the last time we would have seen that? That would have been like 2007 or something? I don't know, it was a while ago. It actually might have been a little bit later than that, but either way, I only saw like the first half because they did like a separated release, like, you know, part 1, part 2 kind of a release for the DVD, so I only remember the Mario, like the first few, like the first half of it, and I never really saw the World or 3 cartoons, which is weird because Mario 3 is my favorite, but I never saw that particular cartoon. I've never seen the Zelda cartoon either, though the Super Show always had like promos for it, so like a ton of scenes I have seen, but I've never seen like the full thing. It's just like really weird how they would just like actively advertise Zelda in the Super Show. I don't know if it went the other way around. Again, another big difference in this is they do have these giant enemies that if you defeat, they drop hearts. So this version is a lot more forgiving than the original, in that they give you a lot more health, and so even in addition to just saving or being able to save, there's a lot of quality of life, but again, a lot of like enemy placements are also different. So again, that's why even if I were to complete this, or complete, like, Mario 2, I would count this as a separate completion, just because this game is so, like, vastly different. So, I can't think of too many other remakes that are that different to the point where I wouldn't classify them as, like, a shared complete, but again, this is a rare example. I want to say there might be more mushrooms in stages too, but I may be mistaken on that. There's another Easter egg with Birdo later on, but we won't see it for a little bit. This fight's actually scary because if you don't pick up the egg fast enough, obviously you can go careening into the pit. So we'll try not to do that. The other real issue I have with this game is like resetting health constantly. Like, you have this heart system, which is kind of like the traditional like 2-hit system in Mario anyway. But it ends up being a little bit frustrating because you always go back to 2 health even if you get health extensions. So I really wish it wasn't set up that way, because it's very frustrating in my opinion. But yeah, we'll roll with it. I also really love the overworld theme. Genuinely, Mario 2 might have one of my favorite overworld themes. Like, I will always remember the Ghost House, version, oh, it's used in a ghost house, is not themed around a ghost house, to clarify. But the version of the overworld theme in DDR Mario Mix, actually, that's a game I should include in this series now that I think about it, because I did actually play quite a bit of DDR Mario Mix as a child. I never used the dance pad, because I was never in, like, good shape as a child. Let's be real, I still have respiratory issues, but my respiratory issues were, like, really bad when I was a kid, to the point where I definitely would not have attempted that on an actual dance pad, unfortunately. Yeah, this playthrough is simultaneously going better than I guessed and worse than I guessed. Like, we've already died twice, which isn't great, but I kind of expected as such. You know, I have to be in good shape. True, it's just like, for me personally, it's like I had essentially asthma, so like physical activity did not seem like the most inviting thing at the time. Like, just to clarify that a little bit. I definitely feel like it's better now than it used to be, but it's still not, like, great, in all fairness. Okay, I did not botch it. Like, obviously, you have to position these doors properly, so it's very easy to accidentally lock yourself out of the mushroom, which is very unfortunate when it happens. Yeah, you can use GameCube, but let's be real, that D-pad is awful for precise inputs, so never had the best time with that. I basically use face buttons in analog. I'm also like someone who uses the analog a lot in games, like more than usual. Like, I'm currently using the control stick right now. Like, a lot of people find that, like, sacrilegious to use, like, a control stick for a 2D platformer, but I just genuinely prefer that. And I think it's because I grew up with a GameCube, Game Boy player, so, like, if I'm gonna play a bunch of GBA stuff on my GameCube, I'm gonna be using the D-pad, because the analog stick, because the D-pad on the GameCube controller is just so miserable to actually use. Some do work better inherently, like Celeste, obviously, because you have, like, the gold feathers and everything. I'm gonna do something real crafty, where I'm going to set this up over here, and then hopefully let them fall, and thus I don't have to worry about actually contending with them. So yeah, we actually got all the coins for once in this stage, but this was also the wrong direction to go, so oops. Hey, we got one up out of it though, so I think it's worth it. How do I get back up there though is the next question I'm currently facing. It makes sense that the one with the sniff it's actually the right path, just because it's more dangerous. Typically, like, danger paths are, like, either something secret or progression. It's kind of interesting hearing, like, the old voice cast, though. I'm in a weird spot with Mario voices where I'm already kind of used to the current voice actor. To the point where it's like, it's almost like sometimes it throws me off hearing, like, the old recordings, which is, like, weird. Also, red Birdos and green Birdos have the ability to throw their bow like that, which is kind of a neat little Easter egg. I don't think that's in the original Mario 2. That's only in Advance, I want to say. But yeah, we do have different types of Birdos too. Red Birdos shoot fireballs intermittently like this, so they can be a little bit of a pain in the butt to deal with. Yeah, Birdos are a very fascinating character. Like, not one of my favorites, but I do appreciate the trans rep, basically. Also, it's very noisy around here right now, so I do apologize if you're hearing background noise. I was just checking, like, my monitor to see, and yeah, I think it's coming through a little bit, unfortunately. But hopefully it's not too distracting. Is this the stage? No, it's not. Like, there's a stage that has a shortcut where you basically go to the left and fall through, like, quicksand, and then you can skip, like, the entire stage. But I don't remember where that actually is the problem. So yeah, This isn't going great, but again, I kind of expected it to not go great. Mario 3 is the one I'm, like, the biggest fan of, I'd say, so I'm hoping the Mario 3 playthrough goes okay. That'll probably be, like, next week. Even if I do actually stick on a better schedule than I have been, it'll probably still be next week on the merit of just trying to spread out the Mario games, because let's be real, there's gonna be a lot of Mario if I go through all my favorite games. So I kind of want to like space them out, and as a result, I think it'd be good to do some other stuff to break it up periodically, because it will be a lot otherwise. Again, I like Mario a lot, I grew up with these games, but I know they're not for everyone, so trying to mix it up periodically. That Pokey almost caught up to me, which was very, scary. There's a surprising amount of items in here, and I don't remember these having, like, carousels in the original. I think there were a lot of, like, just rooms with, like, items on the bottom and, like, a couple enemies bouncing around, so, like, they might have spruced up some of those, but again, I don't know for certain, because, again, I'm not, like, a Mario 2 expert by any means. I wouldn't even say I'm a Mario, like, 3 expert very much. Again, most of my Mario 3 knowledge is kind of limited on the nature of growing up with the GBA version specifically as the one I finished. Therefore, I don't really know a lot about the NES version specifically, other than just I enjoy it still. I can still beat the NES version. It's just a little bit more work because there are no, like, saves. Well, now you have, like, NSO and whatnot, so saving is a non-issue, but you know what I mean. So yeah, in general, we just kind of want to dig down here. I don't remember which path we need to go down. Actually, both seem to lead to the same place this time, so... All the Shy Guys are congregating over here, so let's go this way. That seems wise. And we should have a door to another Phanto. So with this Phanto, this one's kind of annoying to deal with because we have to basically work backwards from all the quicksand, which is easier said than done with this game's physics sometimes. So yeah, I recommend tossing the key a lot to try to, like, get him to leave you alone a little bit. But even then, it's, like, a little bit much how much he, like, tries to hound you sometimes. I'm not the biggest fan of this mechanic, to be completely honest, just by, not really... It's kind of weird, actually, because on one hand, I play Resident Evil, so you'd think I'd actually be okay with, like, chase mechanics, but I almost feel like Mario 2, being a side-scroller, is a little bit harder to make chase mechanics actually work well. It's something I kind of feel like with the enemy in Metroid Dread, where it's like, in a 2D game, having like an enemy chasing you down constantly almost feels a little bit more restrictive by the nature of not having a third axis to try to like maneuver around. So this is Tri-Clyde.
If you're ready to get it, toasted.
That's interesting. Every like, the dialogue starting for each head actually causes like a brief moment where the gameplay kind of re-engages for a moment. So I'm gonna play it a little bit safe here. We're gonna build a bit of a wall like this. So now we basically are untouchable. So now we just kind of have to like do this. For this Tri-Clyde fight, it's a little bit overkill actually. Wow, only 3 hits. I thought this one took more than that for some reason. I'm not sure why.